introduce our moderator, singer Mani, Guru, Srimati Ratna Supriya Sridharan. Please come on stage, Mani. She is a Bharatanatyam exponent whose purity of style and expressive gestures have captivated her audience and won her acclaim. Her dance career spans over almost 5 decades and has many prestigious solo performances and leading character roles in Nritya Rupakas to her credit. Nitya Nartana Priya, the School of Bharatanatyam, was started by her in 1983 to impart this knowledge. She has choreographed, directed, and scripted many dance dramas, including a recent magnum opus, Apurva Bharatam, which features over 100 dances and has received high acclaim. We are privileged to have her steer today's conversation with grace and insight. We now move to a special segment of this afternoon, the conversation on this book. May I invite our moderator, Mrs. Ratna Supriya Sridharan, and the author, Sheila Kunjur Srinivas, to take us into the heart of One More Than Eight and Other Stories. Ladies and gentlemen, let's sit back and enjoy this engaging discussion.
Namaskaram and good afternoon. So, let me be very frank. This is the first time that I'm a moderator. I have spoken on many stages. So this thought just came up when I had a conversation with Mrs. Sheila. The idea basically was about the emotions, and she connected with Dr. Suhasini, whom she has known for many years, and put forth her idea of this book launch. So there sprung up a little bit of what we as dancers, we express the emotions through our performances. So we put forth this idea to her that we can give a small introduction to all the emotions. And then as I was talking to her, she said she needed somebody to ask her questions. So I said, okay, since the subject is a little relatable to my profession, maybe I would like to do this. And so here we are. So, good morning, or rather good afternoon, Mrs. Sheila.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Wonderful to see all the friendly faces.
Well, so let me start from the very beginning. So what inspired you to what you are here today for through your childhood? Was it somebody in the family who writes? Or was it your love for reading that you thought one day I would also like to say a story? Or was it when you were interacting with children, the little ones that you have been doing a lot of creative work with, you started communicating to them with small anecdotes, and then you thought, might be, I'll pen it down. So please tell us, how did this start?
Yes, I think, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think I was always imaginative in the sense I would have imaginary schools and imaginary registration books and scrapbooks full of something very useful to think and to write out and understand. Is it good?
I just hold it like this. I think just use the same mic. Put it off and use the same mic.
Check.
Yes, so actually what I thought the best explanation I can give you all, and an answer to this question. I know that many of you all have my book, but what I would like to do is to read my introduction, because that would give you all an idea as to how did these things, and how did these thoughts come into my mind, and how did it translate into a story. So, emotions are the vivid hues that paint our stories with depth and meaning in the mosaic of our lives. They play a significant role in how our stories unfold. Nothing happens in a vacuum. This book, which took 10 years to evolve, is a tribute to the role of emotions in shaping our experiences. I started writing my tales and poems as ideas occurred to me, either through memories, my own and others, or from a spark that ran through my dreams. Few were inspired by the prompts given to us as part of the Writers' Collective. And in fact, I want to add that the manuscript actually was ready, and then I felt that I have to add these little prompts that I had written, and which was appreciated by my group as a tribute to my Writers' Collective. And so you are going to find, and strangely, my little paragraphs over the last 3 years are remembered by my group of writers who are themselves very involved in their own books and writing, which makes me very happy. So I thought as a tribute, so in the final stage of the manuscript, I took it back. I actually deleted some old stories so that I could find some space for my little prompts, which I fill and I've used as fillers. So yes, Navarasa, the 9 emotions have always fascinated me, namely love, wonder, sadness and pity, disgust, humor, fear, heroism, anger, and calmness of mind. Our ability to express emotions through our feelings, facial expressions, and behavior is uniquely human. For many years, I have dreamt of writing stories based on the 9 emotions in Indian dance and drama. When I considered how to combine so many topics under one heading, I realized that each story naturally gravitated towards a dominant emotion, becoming its guiding thread. It was a joyous aha moment when I achieved my dream of synchronizing each story with a relevant emotion or rasa. So, a question that was asked in my pre-launch by one of the readers, they said, did the emotions come first and then the stories? I said, actually, the stories came first, and there may not have been a plan that I'm going to do something so thing, and it seemed to fit into the emotions and the titles. These stories don't follow a strict pattern, just as Mr. Murthy said. I don't follow a pattern. I've got into a lot of trouble with our Writers' Collective often. Some delve into life's big questions, while others offer escapism through fiction. Just to warn you all a bit, okay? You'll find a mix of philosophy, personal anecdotes, and even a touch of magic in my narratives. I weave threads of fantasy into the depiction of everyday life. My protagonists are ordinary people whose lives get entwined with the extraordinary. Through their experiences, I aim to explore the nature of reality and help readers gain insight into society and human behavior. As you flip through the pages, I hope you enjoy reading these stories as much as I enjoyed writing them. May they resonate with your feelings and thoughts, offering insights that stay with you long after you've finished the last page. Welcome to the world of One More Than Eight. The title carries multiple meanings within the book. First, it signifies the Navarasa and other stories, the 9 emotions. Second, it is the title of the opening story. And finally, 1 represents the supreme consciousness, while 8 symbolizes infinity, endless without a beginning or an end. Both are concepts close to my heart. And a little bit more, a question that was asked to me, I've had a little practice because of the pre-launch, is the title. I would just like to add a few words on that. So, did the title come because I wanted it? Actually, the title itself came very organically to me when I was, working on different titles which could work. It was first Real and Unreal Tales, and then I found somebody else had written it has used that, real and unreal. So basically, this book, what you think is real is most probably unreal, and what is completely unreal is most probably real. That's a hint I will give you all. And the number 9 is very one more than 8, 9 has a lot of significance in every. Let me start with 1 and 8. 1 and 8, the Bhagavad Gita, Hinduism has it a lot, the importance of 1 and 8. And a lot of philosophies have this importance of this number 1 as infinity and 8. And when we add it, the number 9, which is very significant for me, is that I started reading and finding it everywhere. I found it in the Navarasa, I found it in the, the 9 gestation period, and it's a unique number because when you multiply anything by 9, it comes back to itself. And so I decided to keep every book of mine having something to do with 9. So now this evolved also over a period of time. So my second manuscript, which is still not to be revealed, is something to do with 9. So I plan to try to keep that concept, hard though it is, because 9 is a very cosmic number. The 9 Navagrahas, the planets. If you look at a lot of things, 9 is very significant, even in Buddhism and in every religion that we have. So that came afterwards, honestly, it just started coming to me information once I gave it this title one more.
Well, I think we got a lot of answers for the first question, and she has covered all that she has felt and put forth and is planning to in the future. So I go back to this 10 years that you mentioned. So it took you 10 years to conceive this book. So 10 years in that span of your life. So generally, after 40, 45, there is something that starts triggering within us when we are a little away from the rat race. Then we start feeling the profoundness of life itself. So from your stories, when you had mentioned that you have written philosophical themes as well. So did that happen this way, or was it just part of your upbringing?
Oh, that's a very good question. We haven't practiced questions, by the way, just in case you think I'm well prepared for the answers. Yes, my search for spirituality has been a very long journey. Why did it take me 10 years? I had to get into the Writers Collective. We got together 3 years back, authors and writers, and all of us, many of us had kept our manuscripts in bits and pieces. And we got our main admin, who I think, Rugumani, I think, was not well. She said she's not well, she couldn't come. Saying that, look, you're already authors, why aren't you all publishing your books? So that galvanized, and I also want to mention that I had a very dear friend, Lata Pardu, in the blue dress, in 2022, but sent me 6 diaries and said, I wanted to start writing. Why isn't your writing, published yet? And the third was my beloved mother, who I will come up in the story called The Spirit of Amma, by the way. She, 2 days before she passed away, she said, she was very unwell, and she said, you love to write, and I want to see you as an author, and why haven't you got down to it? So, yeah, it's more than 10 years actually. It's 15 years, my mother has passed away in 2009, now 16th year. Yes, all that was there. I think it was her diaries. The 6 diaries that my dear friend gave me, which I had to fill up, which started me, and the collective, which gave us direction, gave us workshops, gave us ways to do, told us how to edit. It was a wonderful forum for all of us to, go ahead and get the book done, yes. And in India, obviously, it's very, very difficult to get a traditional book published. Because you're an Indian, you're a female author, you are got a market only in India, to get it abroad, to make people read, so that's why it's tough. And I wanted the traditional way. I wanted the publishers to approve my manuscript, so it took some time for them to understand that it's worth publishing and printing.
So what I would like to know is, from Mills and Bones to philosophy.
Okay, yes, exactly as Mr. Murli Murthy, who knows my writing, Yeah, how come I packed up so many different? One author would write only about romance. One author would only write about philosophy. One author would write about murder and public fiction. But that's just the way of. I have a peculiar divergent way of thinking. Where I can write philosophy, and the next time I can write about a murder and a terrible, and I can write about incest, and I can write worse things actually, but I control because my writers collective keeps saying red flag, red flag. How could you write something red flag? So yes, in some way I see people, I listen to stories, and I understand somewhere sixth sense that there's a story here. So don't feel afraid to tell me all your stories. Don't worry, it won't get written into a book. I've been very discreet. Yes, stories that people have told me, things that have happened, ancestral stories. Yes, all that is put together. And yes, as you said in the beginning, 25 years of training children to write creatively. And many of them have become actually authors themselves and are doing very well in life in the media. And remember me for that, and their children and grandchildren. Yes, that's been a very great influence too. I think that covers a lot.
So now I think you all would have got an insight of what this book holds. So when I started reading, I was reminded of Mills and Boons. And then when I went through, then I realized that she has started touching a little bit of philosophy. So you get a gist of everything. It doesn't come in an order, but since she has taken Navarasa, you will see the pattern. And another thing that I notice in your writing, you have about 5 stories that depicts a particular rasa. But then, within those 5 stories, you have one which has a unique way of writing. It could be poetic, is what I understood, but not the traditional poetry. Can you please explain on that?
Yes, actually, it was again inspiration was my writers collective because they gave us a topic title, and I forgot the title, but I suddenly started writing, the usual way, and put in a lot of and then she would, and then he went, and suddenly I started cutting out the extra words and just keeping which you will find in this book, the last piece of story, the poem or story. I started cutting all the extra words and I started putting it in one column. I just created it in my own mind that it sounds more crisp. And so it's a poem, but it's not a poem. Because I never thought I could write poetry. I thought I was meant for fiction and non-fiction. And it came out as a poem, modern poetry with no rhyme or reason maybe. I just created that, and I've experimented with things in this book. So yes, in fact we had discussed, should we discuss it or not, but to give a little teaser to the very first epilogue, One More Than Eight, you most probably either like it or hate it, because it's deliberately confusing. And if you find you like it, you just tell me. If you don't like it, I don't mind not knowing. But I just want to give you a hint, it's chess pieces of people, we can, as a writer, you can just put the chess pieces and take people any way you like. So, and the poetry, it's not really poem, but it goes like a poem because the topic felt that way. So I eliminated all the unnecessary extra words and made it into a poetic form of a story.
Yes. And I also noticed that you carry a little bit of surprise element in quite a few stories, and that was very interesting. Another thing I noticed, you are also going along with the present nature of life, the things that we have been exposed to. It could be the genders, or it could be technology. So was it deliberate that you chose